Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 21st of July. My name's Phillip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
And Gary, what do you think of my new voice?
Well, I tell you what, if you ever need a second job as a sexy voice operator in some industry.
I'm thinking about doing one of those 00005 late night phone call.
What are they, Phillip? What are those?
You know those.
Why are you so familiar?
You know those advertisements that come on late night television with this husky, deep, sexy voice says,
I don't know what you're
"Come
talking
ahead
about.
and ring that number, big boy."
Shall we just get on with the show? Welcome, viewers, and he's had a little bit too much Nurofen, I think, but welcome, viewers, to a very...
I'm on the Codral.
It's got pseudoephedrine, isn't it?
Gary,
pseudoephedrine, so you'll be bouncing off the walls.
I've got what they call the man flu. And the people say, what is man flu?
Yeah.
Well, man flu is a woman's cold.
Is that right?
So a woman gets a cold and men get the man flu. Somehow it just doesn't...
Can I catch it off you?
Well, you probably can if you kiss me passionately, but we'll do that off camera.
So,
but I do have a deep, husky voice, Gary, having done a lot of auctions on the weekend and dragged my sorry backside around town, auctioning properties when I probably should have been at bed. But... Gary, as they say, the show must go on.
Look, I did my bit for you, Phillip. I gave you orange juice on Saturday and I made you chicken soup on Sunday.
You did, actually.
Took him home and gave him some chicken soup because that's just the sort of partner that I am. And that sort of thing can happen in Caulfield and surrounds, Phil. As we move in to another big week in real estate, we did have a very, very good weekend, Phillip. We're going to get straight up with the graphs
Gary,
because we've been caught out.
Despite my man flu, we did have a fabulous success rate on the weekend. We sold 11 out of 13. So
didn't stop you, did it, Phil?
Let's get those towers up, Gary.
Because Maury here said, what happened to the pyramids? I'm presuming, Maury, you mean the towers. Did Gary get sunstroke and Phillip frostbite as they forgot? Well,
all right,
the truth is...
So what Maury's referring to, and Maury's one of our regular viewers, is the towers. Where were they last week? Well, I'm prepared to say, in the interest of pure transparency, we didn't put the towers up last weekend, pretty much, Maury, because
it was a crap weekend.
We didn't have a great successful weekend.
So in the interest of transparency, we didn't tell you last week what a crap weekend it was, but because we've been caught out a little bit, we are going to tell you now.
But the towers are back because we had a fabulous weekend, Gary. Tell us about the clearance rate.
The clearance rate for us was 85%. A beautiful tall tower against the industry average. Still very strong out there, Phil. You can't knock that.
No, Gary. Well, back to camera. I'm just you'll notice, viewers, that I'm looking downwards now because I'm looking at my iPad, which I've gone into the financial review to let you know that we're bringing the statistics. In Melbourne, it says, and I'm reading from the financial review. In Melbourne, the clearance rate slipped to 74.9% on the reported 625 auctions, compared with 77.4% last week. This came even as the number of auctions scheduled rose to 729. So interesting, auction clearance rate slipping a little bit, but not at Gary Peer & Associates. We've actually gone up 85%. After the weekend that we didn't report.
So it was 75.
Industry was 74.9. You can call it 75%. What was our clearance rate again, Gary?
85%, Phil.
85%. One interesting note from the financial review was that the Real Estate Institute of Victoria last week said the median price in Melbourne rose to $706,000. That's right. So interesting to see that that's the median priced home in Melbourne.
It's expensive, isn't it, to live in Australia, Phil?
Well, it is, Gary.
It's not the best country in the world for nothing, you know.
No, absolutely. You pay a price to live in the best city of the best country of the world, and we should celebrate that fact. We
should, Phil, but we're going to celebrate some of our sales because there were quite a few on the weekend. We did cover a lot of suburbs, Phil. I think 10 suburbs, 13 auctions, and 85% meant there was only 2 properties unsold, Phil. We can't review them all, but I did get along to our first auction on Saturday morning. That was in Chomley Street, Paran. Your Samuel auction, that Phil.
What a great result that was.
It was unbelievable. In fact, it was written about in the Ages. I don't know
I saw that.
It.
Yep, no, I did.
And I was a little bit of a
There was a little article together with a photo of you, Gary.
It wasn't a very good photo.
Look, I've got to tell you, I think we do need to get our photographers in, and we do need to get you photoshopped and airbrushed
in a big way.
Because you know your face is going around the nation, and
it's not what it was.
Didn't look too good on Saturday.
Thanks for the compliment there. Won't be walking out of here with too big a head, which is great. But Phillip, Chomley Street, Paran, let's put that one up, reserved their $500,000 and probably move downable, or probably, was able to be moved south. $600 was the price.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wow, that's incredible.
Great job you did, Lior. Very delighted vendor. I was happy to go there. And then I was happy to go and join you in Warnack Road, Carnegie, Phillip. That was a very good sale, and congratulations to the vendor. Fabulous property. We did do, I think, GPTV from there, didn't we? And that was sold for $1,150,000.
And a special
healthy result.
shout out to Margaret and the team there, because she does a fantastic job. And she's a delight and pleasure to work with.
We are very fortunate to have wonderful people like Margaret as our clients, Phillip. In Anthony Drive in Mount Waverley, Graham Callan got to work, and he did a damn fine auction there, Phillip. We were looking for around about the $400,000 mark. I think that was the reserve. Sold for $487,000. That's more than 20% over reserve.
It's not just strong in our core areas, right out there in Waverley.
Absolutely.
Was it Mount Waverley or Glen Waverley?
It was Mount Waverley, Phillip.
Mount Waverley, strong out there as well.
And Graham Callan is featured this week in one of our sister programs, the Carnegie Report, Phillip, which you can find on our website. We move into Sunday. Unfortunately, prices undisclosed, but still there is one. Which was the first one in the morning. I came along to see you do that auction. I thought, gee, you pulled up well, because we had, of course, Daniel's 18th birthday.
Well, let's talk about Daniel's 18th birthday, because it was held at your house, Gary. And
the house is never going to be the same.
I just want to apologise to those residents of the city of North Caulfield, and we'll go right across the city of North Caulfield, but particularly those that live between Glen Ira Road and Balaclava Road, Kooyong Road and Hawthorne Road, where the noise was really at an unsociable level. Gary, yesterday and today, I've been into people's houses where they were both saying, really, what was with the noise and the commotion at your place on Saturday night?
Well, we're trying to get a few more sellers onto the market,
It was
Phillip.
Daniel's 18th birthday.
Making the area undesirable.
A very happy birthday to Daniel. Great night, but I've got to say, I don't think you do much for the values in Caulfield North. Because
I'm trying to get more properties.
I don't think you're much of a neighbour.
I'm not
really.
a neighbour.
Next time you have a party, have it at a function centre, because the good residents of Caulfield North deserve a better night's sleep than what they got on Saturday night. Fair enough.
Well, it was a night at the Pierboy Mansion. It did go off in a big way, but on Sunday morning we all recovered okay. Jeremy Rosens was there till stump, so good on him. But it did sort itself out, Phillip. And here we go. Wilgar Street. What a great auction. St Kilda Reese. We thought we might get somewhere around that 1.3, perhaps 1.4. Lo and behold, it's undisclosed, but it is an exclusive, because you won't see it anywhere, the price, except right here. It was sold for $1,600,000. Great auction.
Gary, we held that auction in the back family room,
Cold
which
but sunny.
Which is beautiful. An architect renovation, I think, an architect's design renovation with a period facade, beautiful house. But $1.6 million, really, these are starting to be Sydney prices, I reckon.
They are, and it wasn't a very big home, was
it? No, it's a gorgeous house.
Beautiful home.
Beautifully done, but $1,600,000, as I say, it's starting to feel Sydney-esque.
And just as a postscript to it, interestingly, the buyer only saw it the day before the auction, and only that can happen in an auction, really, can't it? Came across from Armidale, and we welcomed them to the neighbourhood, Phil, to St Kilda East. We also had a very competitive auction in Rosemont Avenue that really went off in a big way. Price undisclosed, many hundreds of thousands of dollars. Over the reserve price, Phillip. 45-minute auction, that one, Gary. It was a long one.
That one went on and on and on. But vendors love a long auction, because a long auction generally means a great price.
And congratulations to the buyer, who Darren Krongold instantly thought of when that property was listed and told them about, as he did with the next auction, Phillip, because Darren's very good at doing that. 71 Howard Road, Caulfield North. Congratulations to the buyer there as well. Undisclosed price. And again, fantastic parcel of land.
One of the last opportunities, Gary, to get a house site in Howard Road, because especially on that western side, I think there's maybe only 2 left.
Yep. No, it was very exciting.
Well done to the buyer.
Competitive auction in Furno Grove, East St Kilda, Phillip. I'm getting
big crowd there, Gary,
in terms of review, but it was a really big crowd, wasn't it? And a very, very competitive auction. 2 buyers going hard at it.
Undisclosed there again.
Unfortunately so, Phil, and we may as well round out Sunday, because we're almost there. And well done again to Graham Callan, who was in Carnegie, who is in our Carnegie office, but auctioned at his home in Leamington Crescent in Caulfield East, and that one was sold. And that one's not undisclosed for $625,000 beyond the reserve price.
And speaking of Graham Callan, Gary, probably a good opportunity to just talk about the fact that we now have 6 auctioneers.
Yes, we have talked about that before.
So, in our early days when we just started, there was just me, and then you got your auction gavel award.
Well, I did, because you had to go home to Cootamundra because your father was sick. Correct. And there I was, stuck having to do an auction in St Hubert's Road, my first ever.
I remember that.
And I remember it too.
In fact, I remember the vendors.
Yes, that's
I don't think we'll mention them on air.
No,
but
I don't think they ever dealt with us after that.
At at the end of the day, that was your first auction, but we now have Leo Samuel, Jeremy Rosen, Simon Radolnik, Graham Callan.
Yes.
So 6 auctioneers.
A smorgasbord of auctioneers, Phil.
We can now handle, Gary, I believe, 72 auctions each weekend.
Yeah, and I think if we have any less than that, we're doing
Wouldn't that be nice if we ever get to that point?
Yes, let's just think about it and dream on, Phil. In the meantime, let's dream on about some of the properties we have this weekend, because we have 8 auctions over 7 suburbs, and then we have to review this property after that, Phil.
Yes, Gary, a quiet weekend, but the last weekend in July, and hopefully August, the 1st, will bring on some warmer weather.
And a busy weekend, a hell of a weekend, a heck of a weekend. Looking forward to that. Let's review this weekend's, can we?
We can.
This Saturday, Philip, we're starting bright and early at 10 a.m. in Melbourne. We are, Philip. We've got
Melbourne as in Queens Road, Melbourne.
Yeah, 3004 is the postcode for Queens Road, isn't it, Philip? Unit 32 at 78 Queens Road, Melbourne. Jeremy Rosen's auctions that one for Lemoore. Tell us a bit about it.
Gary, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. In fact, it's a lock-up garage. This is one of the last older style buildings in Queens Road, a fabulous looking property. But what a great address. If you buy in Queens Road, you've got the city on your doorstep, but of course across the road, Albert Park Lake, access to Fitzroy Street, Chapel Street, St Kilda Road. Queens Road has become really one of the most prestigious residential addresses now.
In the world, Phil. 2 Lidson Street, Murrumbina, is a property at where we shot the Carnegie Report, Phil, and what a fantastic home.
Gary, check out the facade on this property.
I love the back area.
Beautiful floor plan, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, off-street car parking for 2 or more cars, swimming pool, and Murrumbina has become a hotspot in Melbourne. I think that is a suburb of growth, Gary.
It is, I agree.
If you buy in Murrumbina, I reckon you're well on your way to capital growth.
That's the first of your 3 auctions, Phil. You're moving on then to Danielle Crescent in Caulfield Central, meeting Leon Gusenfeder for this property. Tell us a bit about it.
Gary, 624 square metres of prime Caulfield land, together with a 3 or 4 bedroom family home, 1 bathroom, off-street car parking for a couple of cars. Great land opportunity, but also a renovation opportunity or a very good property for the investment portfolio.
It's a fantastic position. You're moving on from there to Brighton East, another favourite suburb of ours. We've done some fine work, Phil. We're selling number 3 Carween Avenue. I love this home.
Gary, this is a great property because you get a house on a really good parcel of land. In fact, the land here is significantly larger than is typical on a single fronted home. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, off-street car parking via a garage, but plenty of other off-street car parking. This is a great home because you can move straight into it or spend some money renovating or redeveloping subject to council approval. That's great real estate.
Now, Leo Samuel's a very versatile agent, and whilst he is the director of the Carnegie office, he has a very, very good broad knowledge of all areas of Melbourne, particularly St Kilda, where he was an agent in St Kilda for many years.
That's where he did his apprenticeship, Gary.
Did, and still is very actively engaged in selling in that market. He's in Chapel Street, Phil, this wonderful apartment. It's just a 1-bedroom apartment, Phil, but that doesn't mean it's not great real estate.
Gary, this is incredible real estate because this is Art Deco architecture at its finest, and this is one of the best buildings of its type. And that's a brilliant position because you've got the tram at your doorstep, but you can actually walk to Chapel Street St Kilda or Chapel Street Windsor or Chapel Street Prahran, or stroll down the road to Carlisle Street.
You can go to Yochi, Phil.
You can, Gary.
You can go to Yochi and get a yogurt.
You can. Just round the corner. Wait for summer, or wait. You don't have to wait for summer for a Yochi.
You know what?
You can eat it 365 days per year.
And it's actually busy now in winter even, Yochi, because it's that good.
Do you know, now that we've given Yochi a plug, given the fact that we know the owners of Yochi, Gary, I think I might give them a call and see whether we can get some vouchers to Yochi to give away on this show.
I think we should, Phil.
So Yochi owners, we're coming at you.
We are, and the Yochi lovers, let us know who you are because we'll see what we can do to get you sorted out. That one's in Chapel Street, of course, at 2:30 p.m. That brings down the curtain on Saturday, Phil. Sunday, we're up at 11:30 a.m, not as early as usual, Phil. You have a little sleep in there. You're going to be doing an auction in Flower Street. Why don't you take us through this home, because this has got a beautiful look and feel about it.
Gary, I love this house, and I love that position too, walking distance to our favourite cafes in Bamborough Road, tram, of course, in Glen Huntly Road, Princess Park on your doorstep, but have a look at this house. Stunning, picture postcard perfect facade, beautifully renovated throughout, immaculately presented. This is a stunning home, and I look forward to marketing and auctioning this on Sunday. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, off-street car parking. That's great real estate.
And if you are of Asian heritage, Philip, you've got the luck on that one because number 8, Phil.
Yep, Gary,
And
you
8
don't
is
have
good.
to just have Asian heritage because 8 is a lucky number in many cultures.
I don't know about that.
Well, just take my word for it,
It's not
Gary.
lucky for me at the casino. I can tell you, I've tried
Well,
number 8
it
a
would
few
be
times on the
luckier
wheel.
if you didn't go there, Gary.
It would be lucky.
And I say that with due respect to James Packer, who does own that casino.
Right. I must say there was
Special
another.
shout out to James Packer.
Oh, he loves the show.
You know,
Never misses it.
Never misses this
Wouldn't
show.
affect
Wherever
anything.
he is,
Doesn't
in fact,
matter.
He
Shows on his private plane, Phil.
now with his new girlfriend,
Kerry,
Mariah Carey.
Yep.
In fact, they cancel most nights to stay home and watch GPTV. Mariah Carey, a big fan of GPTV.
And thank you, Mariah, for offering to do the opening song to the show because she's thinking about doing that, which we appreciate as well. She's good like that, Mariah.
She is. Old
Phil,
Mazza.
Phil, the 8th of August actually is a very busy auction day, and there are many vendors that are talking and thinking about the whole, Asian thing because you could buy on the 8th of the 8th. Is also very lucky, Philip.
Yep.
So,
Gary, that got a bit of a run in Saturday's Domain.
So,
apparently, there are a number of vendors that have specifically chosen that day to get the luck.
Yes, good luck to the owners of Bridge Street, Philip, because that also is going up for auction on Sunday morning. It's 11:30. Leor's doing that auction. Dimitri from our Carnegie office is handling it. That's a great looking home, isn't it?
Gary, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, lock-up garage, second car space, immaculate condition throughout. It's a really, really good home, and that's a great spot. You can walk to everywhere you want to be.
How's your voice holding out, by the way? Is it okay?
Well, it's there. I got through Sunday's auctions. I didn't think I was going to, but I must say I do like the deepness to it, the rich, velvety tones.
Tell us about this apartment,
You don't
Phil.
want to discuss it any
9
longer?
at 11 Kooyong Road, Caulfield North. Tell us a lot about it. It's Sunday at 12:30 p.m.
Gary, that's on the Kooyong Hill.
Yep.
And the Kooyong Hill is between Alma Road and Dandenong Road. Great position there.
Yep.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 lock-up garage, polished timber floorboards throughout.
Yep.
That's a great property.
Okay, great. It's been sold. Thank you. I thought I'd just make you talk a little bit longer, so that was good.
Sold before auction.
Sold before auction, it was.
You're an idiot.
I've got my own warped sense of humour. Small things amuse me like that, Phil.
Clearly that does.
Talk about this home, Phil, because there's nothing small about this. This is
Gary.
palatial. This is magnificent.
Okay.
It's in one of Caulfield's best streets.
So this
Take us
is
through.
one of my favourite houses of Caulfield North.
Yep.
This is number 22 Aruna Road.
Yes.
And this is a very unusual home. I think it's a home reminiscent. I think I said this on the virtual tour that I did. This is reminiscent of the great homes of Bel Air or Hollywood or Beverly Hills. It sits on probably one of the biggest blocks of land of Caulfield North, in excess of 1,250 square metres of prime land, a much larger than usual frontage, so one of the biggest blocks in Caulfield North, and a really solid home, solid brick. In fact, the vendor said to me, Philip, it's triple brick, but because I couldn't count the bricks, I couldn't actually test that. But a big solid home, concrete slab at ground level, first level. You won't find a bigger and better home than this to hit the market. But it's glamorous at the same time. It's intimate, but it's a real knockout. It's a showstopper of a home.
It is.
Gary.
It's funny. I had a couple of meetings last week, and of course, this has just started off, and people were really talking to me about this property, saying that this is a real landmark, I guess.
It is.
Isn't it?
Aruna Road is one of the top streets of Caulfield
doubt.
North, but this is a house that really just stands out, but in a very dignified way.
It is. It'll be here long after we've gone, Philip, won't it?
Most
Because
probably,
it's
Gary.
built like a tank.
Built to last. Built to last.
Yeah, solid as. And great quality. Beautiful home. We look forward to seeing you here. Details, of course, on the screen right now. And that's a big wrap for GPTV for this July. Almost the last weekend in July. I think we've got one more week of GPTV in July to go, Phil. Then we're into August, and before you know it, it'll be
Springtime.
And people are now listing for spring.
Well, we are, Gary. Our bookings for September and October are starting to fill up.
Yes.
So as much as it's been freezing this winter, before you know it, the weather will have warmed up and the gardens will be looking fantastic. And now is a great time to be speaking to one of the team at Gary Peer & Associates so you can plan your springtime sales campaign.
There's a lot to think about, isn't there? Because you've got the grand final, you've got the Melbourne Cup, you've got the school holidays. So, you know, a lot of our clients are working very strategically with us, or we're working strategically with them to work around all those dates and how to absolutely optimise and maximise their auction date and time. But it is a good market still, isn't it, Phil?
It is, Gary. It is, Gary. There's no question. Whilst we've talked about is this a bubble or is this not a bubble, the reality is our clearance rates are still fabulous. And even with a slight reduction in the industry clearance rate, we've gone from an all-time highs to really, really strong, solid markets. So now's a great time to be buying and selling.
Absolutely, and we look forward to keeping you informed as to what's going on. Mr. Croaky, sexy voice over here, or croaky voice, or phone operator, or whatever you'd like to refer him as. His name is Phillip Kingston. I'm Gary Peer. This has been another mad edition of GPTV. We look forward to keeping you informed, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week.